saw a sub and you didn't think you were going to have to do anything today, but guess what? I'm here to entertain you anyway. Today we're going to be talking more about square roots like we did last week, except today we're going to do some adding and subtracting, and then some more multiplying and dividing of other kinds of roots that we will talk about today. All right, so the key that you have to remember about square roots is if I want to do, say, let's say 3 root 2 plus 5 root 2 minus 4 root 2, I can add or subtract all of these roots together because the number inside the root is the same every time. So as long as those numbers are the same, I can just take like the numbers on the outside and say, okay, that means it's 3 plus 5 would be 8 root 2 minus 4 root 2. So 8 root 2 minus 4 root 2 is just like saying 8 minus 4, which would be 4 root 2, which would be the final answer. Okay, so the number inside the root has to be the same, and like the square root, so like cube root, fourth root, those all have to match up too. So let's try another example over here. All right, so let's say the square root of 32, 2 times the square root of 32, plus 4 times the square root of 8. So when you first look at this, you might think, oh, I can't add those together because the numbers on the inside are different. You have a 32 and you have an 8, and so you can't combine them. But then you think, well, if this is an example or if this is a homework problem, I must be able to do it. So what you're going to have to do first is simplify the square roots first. So 32 is 16 times 2, and 8 is 4 times 2. So if I write it like this, times 2, plus 4 times 4 root, 4 times 2. And then I know that the square root of 16 is equal to 4, so I'm going to take that out here and multiply the number on the outside. The 2 is going to stay on the inside. And the square root of 4 is 2, so I'm going to take that out and multiply again. So 4 times 2 is 8 root 2, plus 2 times 4 is another 8 root 2. And then after you have it simplified, you're like, oh, that's great. It works out perfectly because now the roots on the inside are the same, so just add the numbers together on the outside. So you get 8 plus 8 is 16 times the square root of 2. Ta-da! Oh, what? You want another example? Okay, great. Let's try another example. So let's do 3 times the cubed root of 16 minus 4 times the cubed root of 2. So again here at first glance, it looks like we can't simplify anything. So, I mean, it looks like we can't add or subtract them together because these roots are different. So I'm going to break this up. See, 16, that's 8 times 2, and that's 4 times 2, and then 2 times 2. So I know that if I'm doing cube root, everything comes out in a group of 3. So let's see if that'll get me where I'm trying to go. So let's see here if I can get a different color pen over here. Oh, look at it over here now, getting the blue pen. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So the cube root of 8, all of these 2's are going to come out as a single 2. So then I'm left with 6 times the cube root of 2 minus 4 times the cube root of 2. And then I end up with cube root of 2 in here. So I'm in good shape. So 6 minus 4, that's 2 times the cube root of 2. Boom. So that's it. That's not so bad. All you have to do is make sure that before you combine the numbers in the front, that you have to make sure you simplify the roots so that the numbers inside the square roots are the same. Okay, well, adding and subtracting is pretty easy. So let's do something else. Let's multiply. I know you think that we already did multiply on Friday. So let's do the review problem from Friday. So let's do 3 times the cube root of 18 x5 y2 times the cube root of 2x3 y7. Okay, so remember when you were doing a problem like this, you could combine them together because they were both cube roots. But maybe this example is a little bit too easy and we'll put numbers on the outside like that. I don't know if we did any examples like that. So if the numbers on the outside, the numbers just stay together on the outside. So 4 times 3, that stays on the outside, 12. And then I'm going to combine everything on the inside, remember? But you don't get a calculator on this test, so let's prime factor these first. So 18 is 9 times 2. So I have 3 times 3 times 2 times 2. The 18 is 3, 3, and 2, and this 2 is 2. So I don't have any groups of 3 here, so the numbers are all going to have to stay on the inside. And then I'm going to add the exponents on the x to the 8th, and y to the 9th. Okay, so now all of these have to stay on the inside, but I do get to bring some of the x's on the outside, because remember 8 divided by 3 is 2, so that's going to be 12x squared on the outside. And then on the inside, this is going to be 3 times 3, which is 9, times 2 times 2, which is 4, so 9 times 2 is 36. And I had 8 divided by 3 was 2, with 2 left over, so the 2 have to stay inside here. And then 9 divided by 3, it goes in evenly, so all of the y's get to come out, with no y's left over. So that's what we were talking about on Friday. So today's multiplication, I feel like, is even easier than that. If you were the master at that, you're going to have no problem with today. So today it's going to be like multiplying binomials. So let's try one. So 3 plus 2 root 5 times 2 minus 4 root 5. Now this is called multiplying binomials because you have 2 terms here, so that's like a binomial, 2 terms is binomial, and you're multiplying binomials, so when you're thinking like, oh, I need to multiply 2 binomials together, what's the trick phrase that we use to remember what to do every time? What? What did you say? Oh, yes, that's right. We're just going to FOIL these together. All right. FOIL. Okay, so that means the first ones are 3 times 2, which is 6. The outside terms is 3 times 4, negative 12, root 5 goes along for the ride, plus 4 root 5, the inner parts. And then now these ones are the hard ones to multiply, so I get 2 times negative 4, that's negative 8. And then, so multiply the outsides together and multiply the insides together times the square root of 25. And then I just have to go through and simplify. So this is kind of like when we did the imaginary numbers, and this turned out to be like 8i squared or something, so we had to simplify this part of it. So this is really negative 8 times the square root of 25, which is 5. So it's 6. And if I combine these, negative 12 plus 4, that's minus 8 root 5. So I really have 6 minus 40 minus 8 root 5, which is negative 36 minus 8 root 5. Boom. Oh, FOIL, that's not so bad. Let's do another one. It really does not get any harder than that. So let's do 2 minus root 3 times 4 plus 2 root 3. Okay, so when I FOIL this one together, I multiply the first one, so that's 8, and then plus 4 root 3, and then minus 4 root 3. Oh, that's cool. Those are going to cancel out. And then I have negative root 3 times 2 root 3, which will give me negative 2 times the square root of 9. So this is like the best case scenario right here, because these two radicals are going to cancel out. Bye-bye. And I'm left with 8 minus 2 times the square root of 3, which is 3. So that's 8 minus 6 is 2. Right. Easy. Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. So, of course, if you're going to multiply, you also have to talk about divide. And division is actually almost exactly like what we did when we did the imaginary numbers. So let's say I have 8 divided by 3 minus the square root of 2. So the problem is, remember like Daniel said on Friday, there's no rats in the basement. You can't have any radicals in the denominator. So we're going to employ the same technique that we did with imaginary numbers and multiply by what's called the, do you guys remember this thing? It looks exactly the same except the sign in the middle is different. So if this is a minus, these two numbers have to be exactly the same, but the sign in the middle is going to be opposite. This is what's called the conjugate. So you multiply by the conjugate, and that cancels out the middle terms, just like what happened in our last problem. So I'm going to distribute the top, 24 plus 8 root 2, divided by, now FOIL the bottom, 9 plus 3 root 2, minus 3 root 2, that's our favorite part because those cancel out. And then root 2 times root 2, that's just 2, so minus 2. Those guys cancel out. So I get 24 plus 8 root 2, all of that divided by 7. All right, so that's it for you guys today. You can get started working on your homework, and the assignment will be posted for you. And have a great afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow.